my god, are we
Hi,
live?
hello. As
Oh,
I
this is so
start,
cute.
Hello.
welcome everyone, all 30 of you. Oh my goodness, it's such a large amount of people. We have a whole
30.
lecture room full of
Damn.
audience members today. Wow, faces. Welcome to our season 3 Q&A. Softpod is back. This is our first live stream of 2023. And here I'm here to talk to you, the fans, about what's in store for season 3. We had questions pulled from Twitter and Discord, but before I get to that, let me do a quick round of introductions for our team here. Starting first, Chris, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh hey, my name's Chris. I use they them pronouns, and I play a little green tiefling named Vincent Obra, who has
Amazing.
problems
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I gave him.
they're not. Yes,
Yeah.
and I continue to propagate and use those problems for entertainment.
Wow,
for
thank you,
your
Christian.
entertainment, viewers. Thank you very much, Chris. Next on the chopping block, we've got Mikayla. If you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Hey, poppin'. My name is Mikayla. I use she, they pronouns, and I play Azzurum, Azzurum, open book, never tell a lie,
Johnson
Essen
Carr. Yeah.
I know you're keeping a running list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. And finally, Michelle, if you'd like to give an introduction.
Hi, I'm Michelle, she, her, and I play Lidara, the fun, little, happy, always, never sad elf.
The fun loving and freewheeling.
What she's known for.
Bad bitch.
Fantastic. Well, also really quick introductions. Everyone here is also part of the production team as well, from social media to audio editing to graphics and art. Everyone here plays a role in that. We have another one of our team members in the chat. That's K2. Carissa is also here. Does amazing work on social media and helps us a ton to kind of help balance that out. I'm Christian. Christian. I'm the dungeon master. I write this shebang. I do music and
write this
shit. I write this shebang. I do music. I do sound effects, and I am currently going to be hosting this stream and asking all the questions, as well as keeping an eye on the chat for any extra questions that filter in. We may have time for those later. We might not. We may not get to all the Discord questions because there was a lot. But we're gonna play it by ear. At around 8:30 or so, and I say or so loosely, we are going to be revealing the season 3 name as well as the official logo that we have all that our wonderful Chris has made for us. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and we're very excited to share it with you. If you haven't already, if you go to our Twitter and our Instagram, you will find the season 3 trailer as well. So you can go ahead and watch that at Nerbswax on, I hope I'm pronouncing everything correctly, on Twitter and Instagram. She made that trailer for us, and it was amazing.
She's
It was
laid.
beautiful. No, it's just wonderful work all around on such a short timeline too. So we were very, very thankful for all of their help, and we're so very grateful for everyone showing up in the chat today. Let me actually take a look here. Pull this over so I can see the chat too.
There's so many of
Oh,
you.
that
Are we
looked
gonna-
good. So many people.
Do we also want to do a round of production introductions as well?
Yes,
Production
please.
introductions is fine. Yeah.
Take your
You want to
credit.
go around? See
While
what
we're
you do?
killing time.
We're killing time.
Also,
We're on a timeline, but okay. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
We're not killing time at
Chris,
all.
what do you do on the production team? Get to know the production team.
what do I do? I
Yes.
I draw. I draw. I'm
No way.
yeah, it's crazy. So I do artistic direction. I do all of the official character art and graphic design. I always say I'm not a graphic designer, but at this point I am.
You've done a lot of graphic
At this
design
point I've been
for the
doing graphic
podcast.
design for 2 years. So, which by the way, I can't believe we're coming up on 2 years of this podcast. Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Yeah, we are coming up.
3 if
24th.
you ask Michelle.
Stop!
Started all the
call me
way
out
back
like
in
that.
2020.
My brain is
man.
small.
It's okay, Michelle. But yeah, I do graphic design. I make the logos and all that. And that's kind of it. It's the art side, you know.
That's all.
Yeah. In reality, even though all of those amazing accolades go to Chris, it is an understatement. They make all of the beautiful art that you see, all of the original pieces, all the character portraits. We had some beautiful ones to wrap up Moonlighters that was made about episode 67. The Lantern Festival episode, all of that's Chris. Anything wonderful in terms of the illustrations you see about this podcast? That's all them.
Thanks.
Could not be happier.
I like doing it.
Mikayla, yes, if you could give an introduction.
Mikayla, and I already said that, but I, on top
Hey,
of
Mikayla.
playing Azzurum, I also do I'm the sound person. I'm actually currently recording in our studio and our studio setup, and using actually the mics that we use in case anybody was curious. I man the board during the episodes, like I balance during the episodes, and then I do the first half of the editing for the episode on top of working on some original music for the podcast when it calls for it.
Yep.
Wow.
And they do an amazing
Nothing
job
crazy.
as well. There is no podcast without Mikayla. Mikayla gets all of the sound mixed and edited. We record separate audio streams for each of us, and Mikayla makes it listenable and actually parsable information that is something. So
Vincent, also that you're a Jenga champion.
Yeah,
And
fucking
I would
put
like
some
to-
respect on my name.
Yeah, I just would like to shout out the person who commented that because that is true.
Oh my god. Are we allowed to curse on Twitch? I don't know. We allowed to do that? Maybe. I don't know. I figured I want to. Probably, right?
I think you can't say anything.
People be crazy with it.
Eventually, there's like a filter. If you go wild with it,
We're
if
not
we were
wild.
To, like,
I'll
crack
cool
open
down.
AO3 and start
Crazy.
reading for like an
Which
hour.
is something we've been known to do.
If we were to do that, then yes, Twitch eventually would get mad at us. But the occasional curse word is okay here and there.
Okay, cool. Because that wasn't for Mikayla. That was mostly for me.
Yeah, no worries. And finally, Michelle, would you like to introduce your production credits?
Hey, I do like PR kind of girl, the talk. If you're talking to me, and video editor. I do the video for the YouTube. So, you know,
Yes, Michelle does quite a
I hit
bit.
upload.
Yeah,
I'm like-
upload.
You know, that's a big deal. That's a
It's
big
actually
deal.
a huge deal. The
It
last
is
part of the
also-
production process.
So much.
It is a lot. Michelle takes time out of a busy life to basically put everything finally together so that you have something to watch on YouTube and put it together, as well as is helping us get everything organized, including our Gmail, which I've been left to the wayside. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And Michelle has taken
It's
on
an organized
the
era.
and Michelle has taken on the arduous task of organizing us and getting things together, keeping your notifications open and
she's
such,
on
so-
all of our timeline.
She's-
If one of us is late, it's like a trickle down effect. You're just fucking over Michelle at the end.
Exactly. Michelle, no matter how much wild and weird editing I do, and no matter how late I get in, sorry, but
It's fine.
Michelle is there to put it all together and make.
What
a
do you do,
beautiful, fun
Christian?
product.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I play all the NPCs and I write, but also I add the final sound effects and music. Help from Mikayla as well. There are some weeks where that isn't possible for me to do because of outside life things, but for the most part, a lot of the music that you're hearing is me parsing out a soundtrack and trying to find something that's fitting, and the sound effects too. I don't have any formal training in it, but I like to think I've done a good job, and so
He does slay.
He does slay.
Uh,
He slays
no
the
worries.
audio.
I one time like watched Christian put a sound effect in an episode. He was like, it was for the Bonnie one shot, and he was like, I'm ripping my hair out. I can't do Western noises. I need help. And so we were working on it together. And he was like, I just want the glass to fall on the tray perfectly. And he was like, it just needs to have like a king. And I swear to God, in like 5 minutes, he pulled like 10,000 sound effects, layered them on top of each other, and I was like, I hear it. I'm there.
It's but that's my very technical knowledge where I'm like, I need to sound like basically, and then just try and make that happen. My philosophy is that if my little ADHD brain latches onto it, then everyone else's will too. So hopefully the noises scratch your brain well. Let us see. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to get to questions every so I'm going to be looking at the chat here as well. So if anything does come in interesting, then I'll ask it. But for now, we're really going to try to get through the questions that we got here. Starting with our Twitter questions. We got some big questions in here, deep questions. Questions that will test your knowledge of the show, of the characters. I was honestly very impressed by what people wanted to know this time around. But yes, checking the chat, audio is all good, everything looks great. Epidemic Sound, I love Epidemic Sound. Actually, all of our music is from Epidemic Sound. Got a license for it, and it is wonderful. So thank you for the suggestion, though. Just use the One Piece soundtrack. Yes, absolutely. I will do that. Toei is known for not suing people, obviously.
Also,
yes.
if
I'm actually cool with the cat.
What?
Nothing. It wasn't important.
The Toei cat. It's
Okay.
the whole thing.
Okay, I'm not in on that. Okay. If I'm looking down a lot, I'm operating stream stuff, so I'm paying attention, everyone. I just
Right.
got a lot of programs open. My
No
computer
worries. You may
is
see
on
the-
fire.
Totally fine. If you see the left side of my head, it's because I'm reading chat. And if I'm silent for a moment, it's because I'm doing mod stuff. So,
Ain't no worries.
anyways. All right. Starting from our Twitter questions, this goes out to everyone. Wish I'd written down these names, but first Twitter question, I believe, comes from Dungeon Depths, our wonderful sponsor.
Oh my god,
They have
Olivia's in the
some amazing
chat.
stuff in the works. Olivia is in the chat. They are.
Olivia, I love you.
They are here with us. The presence, I can feel it.
I love you. Olivia.
They asked, I'd love to know what development the players want to see for their characters this season. It felt like there were some big shifts in Moonlighters, Azzy prepping to take on his dad for real, Vincent losing the amulet's influence, Lidara opening up more in general, and I'd love to know how/if the players intend for that development to continue. So basically, what this question's asking is your goals for your character development. What are you thinking in terms of what direction do you want to take your characters this season? Big question.
I mean,
Get away. I want to go.
I don't want to
go
spoil anything.
I think I got an answer. Don't worry, guys.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys.
Okay.
Okay, all right, Mikayla.
I think I really want. For Azurum's character growth. I really want to lean more into like the more like serious and responsible side of Azzurum. I feel like we've gotten enough goofball. I mean, he's still gonna be goofy. It's still Azzurum, but I think that where Azzurum is in his journey, he has like a lot at stake, and he can't wing it as much. He kind of has to think things through with the situations that they're in. So I think that a big part of Azzurum is going to be like maturing this season.
Crazy.
All grown up. All grown up.
Azzurum being serious.
Loss of innocence, so sad. There's a lot at stake going on, and we won't get into spoiler stuff now. But there's a lot going on for Azzurum, so that makes a lot of
I'm
sense.
laughing at this Azrum serious and responsible open book, never tell a lie, Johnson.
Yeah, keep
Essing
the
Car.
tally going. I'll have
Oh,
all your
man.
names on your character introduction post. We'll just-
Somebody update the wiki. He needs it.
Oh yeah, Drew.
Oh my god. Chris, you had in terms of stuff, anything that hasn't happened yet, something you have goals, you have things you want to do. What do you
I
think?
have goals. I am fascinated by where you've dropped us in. So one of my goals is just I want to know how everything works. I want to know everything.
Very nice.
And Vincent's had about enough of that goddamn amulet. So maybe I'll do something about it. Maybe not. We'll see.
The gloves are coming off.
Tired of it.
It's interesting. I'm going to circle back to that in just a second. For Lidara, Michelle, what are your goals for Lidara going forward?
Think she's been was put through the ringer a little bit that last episode of season 2. So I feel like she's going to actually start to try to lean on her peers, maybe.
Ooh.
Actually, actually start maybe not holding everything in this time.
Thank God.
We're gonna try communication.
Oh my God. Thank God.
We're gonna see
Very
how that
nice.
goes for her.
Lidara had, I think, some of the most solo episodes last season. So you had the most time on your own in which you're really trying to, solve these problems up until they came kind of crashing in. So that's interesting that you want to, this time we're starting from the beginning. Let's lean on Vincent and Azzurum,
Someone said she
That's
must
right.
be a druid because she's growing.
It's really good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Circling back, getting the amulet off. Even though a lot of your goals, Chris, for your character, they involve staying in. We're not gonna be able to avoid it. The Feywild. Something along those lines.
Spoilers ahead, everyone. For people who aren't
Spoilers
caught up.
ahead. Spoilers medium. That will slowly increase throughout the
Yeah.
time. Nothing insane. I'm not gonna spoil the first episode or anything, but
I will. Just kidding.
don't. Don't.
I'll cut the stream right now.
Your goals kind of lean towards staying, whereas I feel like most people in this situation are trying to leave. How do you think that's gonna work out? I think most people are trying to get out, whereas yours might involve sticking around a little bit longer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, on the one hand, Vincent's never been one to abandon people, or at least his friends, and be like, I care about what I have to do. If anything, he's really selfless. So I could definitely see him being like, well, I guess I can put my shit on the back burner if you guys want to get out, and I want to help you guys with your stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what pulls us in what direction,
Yeah.
At the same time,
Truly don't know what's coming, so
truly,
really
the same
not a clue.
time, it's not a bad idea to prioritize Vincent. To prioritize your goals, especially if this is the place where you can find some long sought after answers. Someone in the chat asked Christian, does Auna have any growth goals? Always. I think that Auna, for once, besides the main goal, which is helping
up.
everyone escape, I think
Exactly.
that Auna wants to grow as a person. He wants to experience the human experience. He wants to know the full range of emotions that he's missed out on all these years of his life. And I think that's not something he's actively thinking of, but I think it's something that he's just slowly coming to terms with. So a life that he was never afforded that is now presented to him. How can he take hold of it without seeming too greedy or putting people in danger because he's not focused on his main goal? Something along those lines.
I'm gonna cry. I love Aunus
I
so
loved
much.
him.
I'm gonna start crying on stream because of you. I can't believe this. He's baby.
Anyways, thank you, Olivia, for the amazing questions. Renere's goal is to keep planting big ones on that sweet green bean. Hey, speaking
Ayo.
of planting smooches, we did get a question from the Have Renere Kissed Yet official Twitter account. Twitter needs to be updated.
Oh my God.
Into something. But how many Renere smooches would we expect to see this season? 10, a dozen, upwards of 20? The fans want to know. How can I answer this question? I don't think I
one and done. That was it. That was the only
not
one.
the case.
It was the only one.
Not one and done. They happen. They happen off screen. They happen at pivotal moments. The floodgates are open. That's all I'll say there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then from Twitter we have finally a kind of more open-ended question. How would you guys define the relationship between Lidara, Vincent, and Azzurum? How do they see each other at this point? You know.
Wow. I mean, we've seen a lot of each other at this point.
Okay.
Like,
well. Oh, sorry.
I mean, no,
emotionally.
No, yeah, emotionally. Like, and they're like they were literally like connected in their minds and saw everything that's ever happened to like all of them. So I think like, yeah, I feel like it's like that's just a bond that is like it's really hard to have with people. Like that's not a normal thing, first of all.
No,
But I
absolutely.
feel like that's a connection that they have that like you can't find with other people. Like it's unbreakable. I feel like at this point now because it's like
Yeah.
first of all they know too much.
So one of them's going down. Just kidding.
Like imagine having like just the deepest understanding of another person that you could possibly have,
Yeah.
which is like seeing
Yeah,
all of their
exactly.
problems and all of their history laid out in front of you. And you know, maybe it's not that straightforward with like what we went through in that, you know.
Yeah, because that was also
But-
like a little bit traumatic for all of us. I think
They are
But-
trauma bonded, yes.
they're definitely trauma bonded for
Yeah.
sure. And I feel like that's going to be interesting to see how that connection is portrayed like in this season because that kind of happened like towards like the end. I mean, we didn't really get to like do some downtime moments with, you know, our connection that the characters have now because it was like that until like the end. So
Mhm.
Yeah. In terms of like I mean like individual, like how Vincent views Azzurum, how Vincent views Lidara, like he has this deep care and respect for each one of them, but it's kind of one of those things with Azzurum still where it's like if you go in there and you die I'll kill you, like that kind of like relationship. And then
That's
Lidara, I think he's
Yeah.
always viewed Lidara as kind of like a sister, like a little sister. So still there, still wants to protect her, still wants to look out for her.
I hope that there's going to be a lot of opportunities. You know, I did want to, you know, in terms of the pace of this season, it's not going to be all breakneck speed or right on to the main thing or that time. There's a lot of moments for introspection and talking to each other. I think we've definitely gotten past the point where you're just like we're traveling together, we're adventurers together. We don't know
Yeah,
each other.
way
You all
past
know
that.
Mhm.
each other. You all understand each other to an extent. You three know each other better than most people in the do. So it'd be interesting to kind of lean on each other like Lidara was the goal for Lidara's, you know, lean on each other. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Mick, you got thoughts?
Not a lot.
lot.
No, I agree with what everyone said. I think that Azzurum in the past has like always put up like a wall of like I know that people get so close to me because I think that everyone who gets close to me is going to have misfortune, and
We're all
think
pretty
that-
unfortunate right now.
I think
So-
that like he's had to break down that wall multiple times on multiple occasions with the strings of fate, and so it's like whether he likes it or not, they're basically in it for the long haul.
You can't get rid of us.
Whereas like at the beginning of the season, he probably was
Sorry,
like,
Azzy.
not the season, but the series. But yeah, he's probably like, I don't care. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna tell you guys anything. You don't know.
Yeah.
What.
Open book, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
we have a lot of people in chat commenting on that. Can't get to everything. Some people are asking about Dresden.
Dresden.
I'll say.
I love him.
Dresden's my favorite character.
I love Dresden. I love Dresden, and I
He's a
love
great
all that
character.
time. We haven't seen the last of Dresden.
He's not dead.
Please.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's fine. It's all good.
Things will be fine. Alana wants to grow closer with everyone, but how do you do that? You know, it has to be natural to him or something like that. Speaking of Alana, switching over to some of our Discord questions, can I give Alana a hug? That's from our very
was
own
me.
Chris of
That was
Softbot.
me. I want
Yes,
to give
you
him
can.
a hug. Okay,
You
good.
actually can make direct action to give Alana a hug if you'd
Hell
like
yeah.
in session. So you
Yeah,
can.
I'm gonna
Just
do
ask
it.
first so that he knows it's going to happen.
Of course.
Or, you know, that sort of situation. Everyone here is allowed to give Alana a hug.
Because you know what? He really needs it.
I think, yeah. Yeah,
I think-
honestly. Poor guy.
Confused. He's confused. But a hug would do him some good. Moving on to a less hug-centric question. Difficult question. What was the hardest bit for the cast to act out? So basically, the hardest sort of scene or situation that you had to act out in character. Could be serious, could be not so serious. I know that my answer is surprisingly not so serious.
That is such a good question.
If anyone has an answer right off the top of their head, if you need time to think, I can answer first.
I think that I know my answer. Azzurum had, like, in general, I have a really hard time playing, as a player. I always struggle with like Dazzy scenes. Like I always worry about I just get a little uncomfortable in them eventually. But it's mostly just because I really want to make sure that like Azzurum's relationship with DeVille is portrayed exactly like the way I want it to. Like I don't really want anything to be like misinterpreted. But the actual probably like hardest scene that I've ever had to kind of get through was but luckily it was easier for me to get through, but I like thought about it a lot, was the scene where Azzurum like his dad was walking past him in the street, and like I think the episode like ended where like I had not made a decision yet, and at the beginning of the next episode like Azzurum was going to make the decision of either to confront him or to not confront him, and like that character decision and that scene, I think we also like didn't play for like 2 weeks, and so yeah. I remember being like mentally going over it so many times, and that was like a really stressful scene for me to play out. So those are my answers.
But
You did great,
Mikayla,
and,
you do great. You're such a good actor.
You do great. You do great. The insight. I mean, that interaction. The next beginning of that episode ended up being like one of my favorites in terms of how everything went down. You acted out everything perfectly in the episode right after that.
I was laughing at the Michelle practicing
Olivia.
accent.
That is, you are correct,
The goops
Olivia.
and the gays.
That was absolutely not something that I made up
3
on the
months.
spot.
3 months with
Like,
a
I
dialect
definitely did it.
coach. That's where all of that.
It's so
Well,
funny.
I do have an answer. That one is honestly that scene, the Gerald's Goops and Games. It was like really stressful, like at the beginning, because I was so worried and I was like stressed out that I wasn't gonna, like, I don't know. I never DM'd before, so I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I was like, as long as I improv with my friends, it'll be fine. And then it turned out fine, and I guess everyone really likes it. So I'm glad that you all like it. And that was also that wasn't super hard. It was pretty fun, honestly, to do those scenes. The hard scene that I can think of was the scene when they are all at the inn, the Sleepy Sheep, and they're all having dinner, and then Lidara and Esme and that whole thing
Oh,
happens,
yeah.
and
That is
Lidara goes outside and she's having like a whole anxiety attack, and like I gave myself an
That's
anxiety
when
attack.
it happened. Sorry.
Yes, we were just talking about it. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
I just remembered now
God.
that was the scene that I like.
Yeah.
I was so I was like method acting, I guess, and so I like gave myself an anxiety attack, because I was trying so hard to give Lidara an anxiety attack.
Oh my
I'm okay though, everyone. Not to
Oh
worry.
my
Yeah,
God.
it was a wild one. That was a
That was-
wild scene to edit, and it was also afterwards very much like, hey, it's everything, we're good. It's all good. That is an incredibly stressful situation to be in. Though.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I didn't know that was the one that stressed you out like that. That's
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense.
It makes
because
sense.
like I was making my breathing was so like fast paced and like
Oh yeah.
it was like I was
Jesus.
really giving myself the anxiety because I was making my
Oh,
breathing
yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Oscar-worthy performance. You were
Method
putting it all
acting.
into it.
Oh my gosh.
I was trying to find the text message, but whenever Michelle was doing the Goops and Games bit, Christian like basically gave us the assignment of like write a little one shot, and Michelle texted me like the day before we recorded the episode, and she was like still like really torn on what to do, and she was really stressed, and she's like, I don't know if this is gonna be good, and I was like at work or something, and I got a text from her that was just like, I'm just gonna go crazy, like I'm just gonna do something crazy and
It's
wacky.
gonna
I know.
go
And then
wild.
she was like, I know you'll be able to match my energy. But it was completely out of context. Like she didn't text me all day, and then all of a sudden
No.
it was like, I'm gonna go wacky. I know you can match my energy, and I was like, I can.
I'm
But what
gonna
are we
go
doing?
wacky.
Whoa, what's the plan? where are we going wacky on? You're like about to
No
rob a
plan.
bank. You're like, I'm gonna
No
go
plan.
wacky on this bank, and I'm gonna need you to match my energy.
That
was
that
like,
was
I
quite
got
literally
you.
that was my thought process because I was like, I am thinking too hard about this. Like I am trying too hard to think about what would be like perfect and what would be like the best thing, and I need to stop that. Like I'm facing a wall. I need to just
Yep.
punch through it and just go with my gut instinct. And my gut instinct was a joke shop with this fucking weird ass, wacky ass guy. And Azzurum, I just imagined Azzurum walking in and being like, "Where am I?"
Oh my
that was the vision. So
And it worked beautifully. It all came together. It is one of the most loved scenes in the show, and one
Definitely
of the
in my
most loved
top 10 of
characters.
most re-listened to.
I'm so
Uh,
honored.
And who knows? Maybe we'll see Gerald again in the near future. Who knows?
Gerald is an integral part
Um,
of our story now.
He's gonna be there at the final battle.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have a scene in mind that was difficult for you to act out,
You know
whether
what?
serious or unserious?
I actually do think that there's one that I was like, oh, which was any scene that like there's a lot of really heavy party conflict. I think is kind of hard because. Michelle, you okay?
Right. Watch
Sorry,
Michelle's
Michelle.
camera fall while you were talking. It's not you. I just saw it just slowly turn upward until it was just gone. That was crazy.
I have tears in my eyes.
That's good. Chris, continue, please.
Michelle, you okay?
Oh my
Okay.
Okay.
Why are you crying?
god. It was just so slow too. It was literally just like
Oh my god.
it's a slow train. Oh god, a slow wreck. All right, continue, please.
So anyway, party conflict.
Party conflict.
I think whenever like any of like the main three butt heads about something really important, I think I'm not very good at like debating people or like fighting people verbally, like whatever, getting having a strong argument for something. And it's even harder whenever I'm playing a character that doesn't have my morals and I have to just like think, well, what would Vincent think? What would he do? What, like, it's like a lot of juggling, and
Yeah.
and I'm always like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Vincent's gonna yell at you, but it's not from me, it's from him.
It's totally fine. Yeah.
But
No, it's totally fine.
yeah, I think that the whole like Rosenoff conversation and the ferryman conversation, anything where like they all were button heads a little bit, I was like, oh. It's
Yeah.
challenging.
No,
You
there,
have to do the we're
It's
still
difficult.
friends, right?
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of tough
It's just challenging.
arguments we had.
It's challenging to keep
It is
it all straight in
challenging.
your head and to form the right words and keep your character consistent. Sometimes I'm like, I hope that I just played this episode that was really important and I didn't do something that's like completely out of character for Vincent to do, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. Sometimes, like, I'll get like right after an episode, I'll feel like, oh, I feel like I didn't like that. Something felt weird. Like maybe that was weird, maybe that was wrong, and then I always am like fine by the time the episode comes out because then everyone usually is like loves it, and so I'm like, okay, I'm just need to stop stressing myself out.
We are our own worst
Facts.
critics. Christian, what
Yeah.
about you? Any difficult things?
That leads into I have a guess at what Christian's is.
I got a couple that were hard to act. There's a particular character that I play in the show that I didn't really know going in, and this goes into another question. How much of Geronimo Johnson was pre-planned and how much of it was improv? It was all improv, baby. It was not planned at all. I came up with the name on a whim. I came up with the design just in my head, and I was like, this is something that I think that someone named Geronimo Johnson would look like. And then the voice came to me as would a demon possession would. It's like imagine if something from hell just entered your soul for a moment. That's where the voice came from.
I
And it was
just love
tough.
it because the voice like falls apart throughout the episode. Like it's not the voice you start the episode with.
Right.
It's
It's
so
not the
great.
voice. It gets worse as it goes on, and now I don't even know where it is. The only thing recognizable about it is the vocal fry, and I love him, but I dread him, and it's a curse how much people have latched on, and that's just tough.
You
and
made
then
a
the
fan
second hardest-
favorite that everybody that you hate playing. It's so funny.
And the second hardest scene, spoilers for episode 67 of Soft Pod, is definitely going to be the Veneer kiss, because there was 66 episodes of build up that I was paying off, and I was like, I said, if I mess this up, it's done. I'm gonna walk out of recording. Like I don't get a reshoot, I don't get a redo, because it's not just paying it off for the audience, it was paying it off for Chris. I was like, this is something that's been built up for so long, and if I fuck this up, this whole thing's down the drain. A lot of it ended up being improv because I didn't know where people were going to go during the Lantern Festival, and it worked out. And I think the main thing I want you all to take away from this is that every scene that you thought was difficult or hard, that you were hard on yourself for, it's like a fan favorite now. Everyone
Yeah.
loves it. It's and so you all are doing great whenever you have those difficult scenes. You've carried through, and you've made something really great out of it.
Yeah, you too, homie.
Thank you very much.
The
Uh,
Veneer
I'd like to
kiss
say
we
is
that
actually-
filming the
perfect.
Geronimo Johnson episode was my favorite part of the whole podcast.
Oh my god. I was in
Good
the room
night.
for the first one and I was like, what just happened in this room?
I was like,
wasn't.
I don't
And I
know.
was confused.
You asked, you're like, can we air this? And I was like, I don't know.
It was like half a joke, but I was like, are we gonna air this one?
I was like, I don't know. I was
The
like,
energy.
I don't want to
I-
redo this session, but like also like, I said it, and I said it before. I was like, the audience is either gonna really like this one or this is it. This is the end. I was like, this is what ends us here, and thankfully it was the former, but
I just Christian and I, to paint the scene for people who our setup does not look like what it did when we filmed that, but I remember so vividly because it was like burned in my mind. And Christian and I were sitting at like a beer pong table, or I don't know, like I don't know what else you call those, like a
A
tailgating
plastic table.
folding table.
Folding one of those big ass folding
Beer
tables.
pong table. I mean, it gives the image.
And we were sitting like at the opposite long ends, so we were as far from each other as we possibly could
Yeah.
get. And a lot of that episode had to do with like Azzurum looking at Geronimo and like walking up to him and talking to him, and I just was looking at Christian and I was like, I hate this. Actually,
was-
wait, that was a pretty painful episode. Though
Yeah,
it
that
was
was hard.
fun.
That was hard. It was
that was one
fun.
That was one of the only episodes that during the episode I audibly am like, ugh, I can't do this.
You're saying some stuff, and we just like I remember you were saying it, and you're trying your best, and just like my eyes were, I was like responding in character, but my eyes were wide in fear and terror when
The
you're
record
trying to flirt with
scratch.
Geronimo. I was like,
Oh my
It's-
god.
I remember whenever we were Christian and Chris were like, can we air this? I was like, just give it to me. I got it. I have
we'll
a
work
vision.
it. We'll
And
put it
I think I
together.
did the sound design on that one because I was like,
Sure.
it's wacky. I got it.
It was wacky, all right. And it turned out great. Literally whimpered. Oh God, I did, didn't I? Not the whimpering man.
Oh my god.
Oh my
That's so
God.
funny.
I fear that statement, that chat comment, is going to affect how Geronimo acts for the rest of the show. The fact, like, Geronimo whimpers is going to be like Jesus wept, and it gives us a peek into his humanity. God.
Lord,
Anyways.
God.
Christian, do you ever wonder if like in like 20 years somebody's gonna be like, is this a recording of you playing Geronimo?
My boss walks in.
Digital footprint,
like,
guys.
hey.
Digital footprint. It's always there.
Hey, we have to talk about something. My God, even thinking about it, like, my throat came out for a moment. Good Lord. All right, next question.
What's next?
Next, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Let's see. How has the main three's relationship to downtime changed? Do they find themselves thinking it won't last, or are they happy to have a chance to relax in the moment? You know, when things are going right,
That's.
do you like to sit in it, or do you fear when it's
Sure.
gonna end?
I think Lidara got pretty comfortable enough with it, not feeling so awkward like after like she got to hang out with like Auna and just chill out in Lunastra, and there was a lot of moments I feel like that she was able to relax in Lunastra. Stop looking at me like that, Mikayla. And but now I feel like she's gonna be like, I think that she appreciates the downtime that she gets now. Like every time that she has to relax and not worry about something, it's less like I'm something bad's gonna happen, and more like, let me appreciate this moment because I don't know how many that I'm going to have, especially with these people. And now, especially more than ever, I feel like the fact that they're like in like a whole nother situation all over again, she's gonna appreciate it even more and probably savor every second.
Yeah.
I like that. I love that answer. Chris? Ken?
I think that Vincent's definitely a very like anxious person. His anxiety is always pretty high, and I feel like before he met the Strings of Fate, even when he had downtime, it wasn't downtime. Even when he was fed and had a place to sleep and like nobody was after him or anything, he was like, when's it gonna end? When's it gonna stop? My life is hell all the time. There's always something behind my back. But I think that even though realistically now he's in more danger than he ever was before he met the Strings of Fate, I think that having these people around, first of all, makes him feel safer because he trusts them and he respects them the Azzurum a little bit, and just kidding. He respects Azzurum, I swear. But I think
Yo, why we always throw my boy under the bus?
easy target. I don't know.
That
But I think that Vincent now, before he didn't have anything to like relish in and to be happy about, and now he has people that he can actually find joy in, and like that's not something he ever had, even when things were better technically. So I think that he strangely relishes in it more.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fair.
It's weird. It's so weird for them, but I agree with like the whole she feels comfortable more in like the times when they are in danger because she has at least for the first time she's had the same consistent group of people with her throughout like everything that she's going through, and like they don't seem to be going anywhere and she's not going anywhere, and I feel like she feels really safe with them too.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Kayla, anything you'd like to add?
I think that Azzurum kind of looks towards downtime as like he looks when he gets to downtime, he's like, thank God I need this so bad, but it's because he doesn't know how much longer he'll have. I think especially with a lot of his time with DeVille, of knowing that he's gonna like go back or whatever, it's a lot of like, hurry up so that I can think that this is gonna be the only time we spend together.
Yeah, no, I get that. I can't remember for the life of me who the quote is from. I read it recently, and maybe it's a little too deep for a D&D podcast, but it was a quote that was like, the meaning of life is that every so often there are what you would call perfect moments. You know, and that ties into a lot of other media and things, but nice catch. Ties into a lot of other media and such, but you know, I'd like to think that downtime is those moments when things are right, and it doesn't make sense as to why it's right, correct, and good in that moment, but it is.
What's
You really
that
have to push.
one quote from Everything Everywhere All at Once about there are just very few moments where everything makes sense? Something like that.
Yes, and you just got to cherish them whenever they come along. You
What
know,
a great movie.
What a great movie.
So
we
good.
recently
Right,
saw
all
it.
the time.
Yeah, we
saw
all
it
went to go
together.
see it together, and wow, I was blown away.
It is beautiful. It is a beautiful movie. Should win the Oscar. So in Oscar season, please look out for it. If it doesn't win,
We riot.
racism.
Yeah.
So true.
This is all it is.
Facts.
Sorry to say.
You heard it here
Anyways,
first,
you heard
folks.
it first.
Christian has casted his
I've-
Oscar vote.
Throwing down the. I'm part of the Academy. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Okay. Let us move to a quick one, real quick. Do you guys ever just really miss Tasha, the little heiress of the Thorn Empire, now
do.
heiress to nothing but a good amount of friends?
Heiress to nothing.
You know.
I miss her so much. I
miss
wish we
Tasha
could
a
take
lot.
more NPCs, but we can't. We can't do that to you,
Collect them
Christian.
all. You
I hope
collect
that she
them.
is safe and happy and loving life, you know?
I would love
Thanks,
to.
great.
I would love to check in with her at some point and check in, see what she's doing. I'm sure she's doing great things. She was so sweet.
Whenever it's possible. There is an epilogue to the first season of Blood and Thorns. It's in the Discord only. I think I have it pinned in one of the chats, but if not, I'll send it again at some point. But you kind of get a little peek into what Tasha's life will be like going forward. A little friendship forming with Adelaide, and finding her place in the temple of the unheard. But
So sweet.
moving on from that little quick one here, I'm gonna move past some of these more spoilery ones just to get some of the other ones in here. Just go. This one is actually one that was interesting to me. Do you have any cursed or trash ships So somebody, do you have any ship like that? Just when they think about them together, it might not make sense to anyone else but you might like them. I have no answer to this because if I say something, then
It's
it'll
canon.
it'll
Yeah.
happen, and then it'll slowly start being real, and I can't have that. It just can't. So characters that haven't met, characters that fundamentally don't work. It's up to you.
I could talk about soft pod ships all day. Give me a pairing, I'll give you my opinion on them. I think that any ship with Geronimo or Yarlaxle is usually pretty cursed.
Yeah.
Geronimo and Yarlaxle together, honestly.
Probably the only one that makes sense. Drama has
Yeah.
something, but yeah, probably the only one that makes sense.
May I present to you Yarlaxle and Durnan?
See, that one makes too much sense.
That one makes sense too.
Off-screen hits.
That's like a good story. Like I'm writing it in my head right now, and like
There's
that's a good story.
history.
That's not. Yeah, there's history there, and so that is juicy.
That
I
was
wouldn't- I wouldn't-
juicy.
I wouldn't call it cursed though.
Yeah,
Cursed
you're
would
right.
be like, cursed would be like Auna and Yarlaxle.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
back
Like,
just
what?
tensed.
No.
Leave him out of
Back
this.
tensed
Like,
the thought of it.
Right? Like Auna and Geronimo. Like how would that even work? Like that would be
That would be
insane.
really bad. That would be really bad.
Someone. See, the problem is that when you say it out loud, someone starts. It gets the gears turning in someone's head.
You know what?
One of the 33 people here is like, wait a second.
Like wait a second.
I like
That's
that.
actually.
I mean,
hilarious.
like what you like, you know what I'm
Me.
saying? Write all the fan fiction you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there.
Yeah.
You know, that's up
Yeah,
to
right.
you.
All the fanfiction you want, and you actually go on AO3. Softpod has a tag. If you did not know that, now you know.
We
Softpod has a
have-
tag on
In
AO3,
In
folks.
case you were like,
if you
wow,
need
I
actually
wish I-
content-
fan fiction in there. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
facts about all the ships, anything you want, any way you want it.
I think that'd be like the
Yeah,
hardest.
facts.
I think that's also like one of
Talented
the most
writers.
difficult things. I'd be acting out any of these. I just do half of them is just me talking to myself lovingly / hatingly or whatever.
I don't know if I could do that.
One day.
I won't. I can't voice act anything as Azzurum because it's just my voice.
Mm,
It's fair.
Felt that.
It's no worries.
felt that.
Let's see here. All right. Spoilery territory as we get to the last 20 or so minutes before the reveal. Spoilerish territory. If you've joined us for this long, thank you so much. But we're going to be into some spoilers from the last few episodes so that we can get some opinions on the wrap up of season 2. Starting with a question for Chris. How hard was it for you as Vincent to be trapped inside the amulet, watching Renair be the only one who could remember you? And then everything else that came afterwards, but let's say that moment just to kind of focus it. What was going through your mind?
Ow.
It was tough, if I can remember, right?
Owie. Owie, it sucked. But not really. Like, it's just a game, and I know that the narrative is pushing forward. I think that like when he was actually in the amulet and talking to Tuaria and like having all that, seeing his friends getting hurt, not being able to do anything about it, as a player, I was like, Christian has dropped me into this very, very interesting place, and it's so cool and it's so important. I need to now make decisions that are interesting and creative, because Christian has told us multiple times that he doesn't like create solutions to problems. He will put us in something and then be like, do whatever. And so I was like, he gave me the cool thing. I have to now do a cool thing. Like now I have to show up and make the best out of this really cool situation. And so I was like,
You did really great.
but it was like very cool, but also like as you can imagine, seeing like acting that out as Vincent didn't feel very good about it, and so residually I was like, oh oh man. Oh, man.
It was a tough one. At the end of it, it was really hard because I can't plan for how things are gonna go. And in the end, I was like, this is gonna work out for this reason, but in reality, I don't know how we're gonna get there. But the theme that I hoped that kind of emerged, and I realized was like, how are they going to get to this point? Was none of them would be there without Vincent. None of this adventure exists without Vincent. No one makes it out without Vincent, and there are actually permanent marks that Vincent's left on the world that trying your best to erase him cannot get rid of. And it's just there is no world. Especially for Inner, there is no world without Vincent. It doesn't work like that. The life just doesn't make sense.
That whenever we started playing after that whole situation, and then Christian started out being like, you guys wake up and it's the next day and what do you guys want to do? I immediately knew that he was going in the direction of like, who's Vincent? Like, you don't know what just happened. And I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. I was like, this is gonna be so painful. This is gonna be so painful. And then it built up all the way through the rest of the episode into the where's Vincent, which like broke my heart into a million pieces. And I was just like, I remember sitting there and being like, I had like a pillow to my face. I was like, oh god. This is so... and I kept thinking like, oh, the softies are gonna lose their minds too. Oof.
Yeah, no, it was a tough one, but you did amazing. Everyone did amazing. They worked with it very, very well, and every curveball I threw during that entire sequence, you all reacted to perfectly, wonderfully. You did it. You did it well. What are you looking forward to with season 3? Just in general, is there something? We talked about goals, but is there something in general that you are excited to see, or someone you're excited to talk to, something along those lines?
I'm excited to see our new fits.
Yes.
I have
new
begun
clothes.
compiling. No spoilers, but
we don't have any fits yet. To everyone in the chat, we don't have any.
Just ideas.
And I can't wait.
You're kind of coming up on the point where you're gonna be changing clothes, so you should start getting a Pinterest board together. Start thinking of what you would want to be wearing.
Send me your information, and I'm gonna see what I can whip up.
Chris, you could also just start designing Azzurum's outfit.
Thank you.
Okay, I was like, I'm no designer.
Chris
you know what?
Does a lot of Azzurum design.
You know what? Anything is helpful. It's the same thing with like when people commission me. If they literally just draw a stick figure and send me like a couple things off of Pinterest, and they're like, this is all I got, I'm like, even that is enough. So Mikayla, just even if you're like, I like purple, can you put purple in there? All right, got it.
That's basically what I do every time Azzurum has any sort of design change. Is I'm like, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe like shave the sides of his head. See what that looks like.
Mick, he has cute little shoes, Ayla. Someone said in the chat.
He always has cute little shoes.
He always has cute little shoes.
And you know what's funny? I always think about that, and I always try to incorporate it somehow. I always try to make it so, like, if people do look at his feet, they're like, oh, cute little shoes.
Oh, I love his cute little shoes.
I can't think in words.
It's very fair. No, I understand that, actually. I do understand that. I can't think in
if you could just project your images
distances
in your
and
mind,
images.
just project them to me
put it in
telepathically, and that'll be good.
Just
for me.
Wah.
Honestly, I can't read, so it works out. Just send me pictures.
It all balances
I can't read. So.
out at some point. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go through these. We have 17 minutes, so let's walk through. I want to kind of bundle up 3 of these questions together because they're all a little bit the same.
That's my cat.
Or at least they all kind of fall into a category that I like. Have you ever bought something that just because it reminded you of your character?
Yes.
What is that item? You don't have to show it if it's sensitive or whatever, but I assume it's all good.
Oh my
Mine's on
god,
my
Michelle,
bookshelf.
can I talk about the thing that we got at the con for Lidara and Azzurum?
What is that? Why'd you cover your...
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
What
question
did
mark.
you buy? You're turning
I
so
didn't know
red.
that you can.
Well, I was gonna
Maybe-
say, well, you asked them. I
Yes,
was
it in the
gonna
chat.
say
I'll look.
my it's nothing crazy. But anyways, I two things. One, my sister bought for me a Lidara cosplay.
And it looks
It's my
so
favorite
good.
thing
Wonderful.
ever.
You
It is
It looks
slay.
great.
ridiculous, and I love it. I love turning into her. But what I did actually buy myself, I'm guessing you just.
I just saw it. I just saw it. With that. You can talk. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing against Twitch. Terms of service.
Okay,
Could be
so
for
next.
anything.
And I bought a notebook that is has like a snake on it, and it's like Lidara. That was my purchase, and I used it to take notes for the show, and I haven't written in it yet because
We're starting out.
why would I write in a notebook that I bought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would I write in a notebook? Exactly. It's for looking at, not for writing.
Yeah, it's on my shelf.
Before we
Mikayla?
get to Mikayla's list, Chris, did you have anything that you bought for Vincent?
I mean,
Remind you of
yes, definitely, and also definitely, probably subconsciously as well. I definitely dice. I also have one sword, and I bought the one that was closest to Vincent's that I didn't have to pay more than $200 for. But I got a rapier because he has one, and I was like, ooh, yay. I I didn't buy it, but I have a Vincent bracelet, like one of those charm bracelets. I think Mikayla made it for me, or I used
I
at least. Yeah.
Or I think we
I
maybe
made
it.
the Wesley one, and then you made the Vincent one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, that's perfect.
He's always on my mind.
Wonderful. Love the sword. Love that. Every time I see it, beautiful, wonderful. Somewhere back there. Mikayla, would you like to share with the class what you brought for show and tell?
Well, first. Well, first of all, doesn't this
Yeah.
look like Azzurum?
Oh my god, you took him upstairs?
Blue
Is it?
Sour Patch.
No, I just
Sour
took a
Patch
handful
Kid?
of them upstairs because I thought you'd want
Oh,
some.
okay. Yeah.
And then this one's
Ooh,
Auna.
good.
Oh, they
I
do look
see
like
the-
them.
Yeah.
That one
look
looks like
them.
Auna.
Sour, sweet, gone. No.
Cut the stream.
Also,
You bought the Sour Patch Kids because they remind you of Azzurum and Auna.
all
Okay.
of us have these, but we did technically buy these for our characters. While I'm still on wholesome things, is we all have dice trays. I have mine right here.
Is not
So this
with
is-
me.
It's at the
I
studio.
can show it.
No, it is at home, but I have to
Mm.
go get it.
Yeah, this one. This is the top of it, and then this is the bottom of it. My dice are in there, so I don't want to have them fall out. I'm trying to get you to get a look at it though. And then this is like a little dice tower, and so you can't really tell because mine's blue, but mine's
cool.
blue, and then
Wait.
Lidara's is purple, and Vincent's is green,
I could maybe go try to get mine.
and mine has little dice in it.
Should I go get mine?
Hee-hee. If you'd like to,
1 second.
Yeah,
you
go
guys like
get
my
it.
dice.
There's my cat.
They're cute.
So
So,
Kiri! So,
Kiri in the background.
maybe Michelle and I one time were walking around a con,
we were.
and we walked up to this
Do,
booth.
do, do,
that-
do,
Do. Did you ever find the blue D20 that rolled under the couch? No, but I remembered it like last week, and I was like, I'm gonna go look for it. It was the one that had stars in it. I was really upset.
Aw.
And Michelle and I, how do I want to say this? I mean, basically, Michelle and I bought matching glass pipes that are
Like
in the
this big.
colors of our characters. They're like this big, and we were like, it's Lidara and Azzurum. It was like a BOGO deal.
Cute. It's cute.
I can't pass up on
yeah,
a
it
deal.
was. And like
cute.
one of them is like a lighter blue than the other one.
Yeah.
We're all adults. We all know. We're
We're all
good.
adults.
adults. We use
Everyone-
them. We look at them. We love how the light reflects. Oh, yes.
Here's
there
the
we
dice
go.
tray. It is so big and it is so cool. Mine is green.
They are huge. They take up a good amount.
Ta-da! And then let me show the dice tray. All of my Olivia dice are in here. All my special Olivia Dungeon Depths dice. Oh,
Yes.
it has
And
a tower, and you roll it, and
yes,
then
they're wonderful. Careful. Yeah, I see
there
that
we
green.
go.
Love that green. Love that green.
Love that green.
Very nice. I think Michelle's in the studio as well.
Yeah, mine is probably somewhere over there, but
Well, let me push onward then to the next one that I have. Oh, that's our
Rug.
Strings of Fate rug that we got. Hey, there we go.
Oh yeah,
Drop the,
handmade.
we're not selling these, but we did have them made. Mikayla, maybe you can share some information. It's just for fun that we have it.
Yeah, so we have this. Truthfully, we haven't decided what we're gonna do with it yet.
Go on
It's-
the wall.
It might go on the wall, might go on the floor. Maybe we'll send it to Olivia.
Yeah, honestly.
But it was made by a rug creator. Let me pull up her at.
Very nice. Very,
It's
very
such a
nice
cool
rug
rug.
creation. No, yeah, it is. It was beautiful.
it's so
very
nice.
soft,
It's
very-
ridiculous.
Very wonderful.
People
I know
like
it sounds like you're
rugs.
selling it, but we're
I
just
think
very
that
happy
she
about it.
actually
Yeah.
stopped making rugs.
Aw.
That's okay. Well, last of its kind.
Damn, you're so lucky.
It's so fun. But it was great. While you're pulling that up, let me push onward because we're getting real close to time for this.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry for not getting to all of these questions. If we want to go in later, see if you want to give out some answers to ones that you saw and maybe you prepared an answer for it but didn't get to type it, then we can see in the Discord then. But right off the fact, do you have this is not about a physical item now that I'm rereading this in my head, but do you have a thing that you associate with your character that only makes sense to you?
Ooh.
So, is there something that you associate with your character that you're like, oh, Lidara vibes, Azzurum vibes, Vincent vibes,
I.
Blue things. Sorry.
Yeah, no one else would.
It doesn't make sense to anyone else as to why, but
Shut up,
Just kidding.
There was something earlier that I was talking in the Y2Face server about Maple, and I was thinking about Vincent. And there was something I was like, that is so Vincent, and I was like, why would you think that? It's like it just like inherently was like that's so Vincent, and I was like nobody else would get that. I forgot what it was.
It's a toughie.
It's a tough question. If you don't have the answer for it now, you can always think on it.
Am I-
Come back or we skip this one, even though
I feel like
a
it's
good
gonna
question.
hit me one day. I'm gonna be like, that's it.
I think
Yeah.
what we can do is just keep it in mind, and then whenever it does hit you, just like tweet it out. Just be like, it's this.
This has Azzurum vibes.
I mean, there are like certain things that I think have Lidara vibes, but I don't think they're super like crazy. Like vibes is in like I have like dead flowers right here. I feel like dead flowers kind of reminds me of Lidara a
So
little bit.
true.
Like that kind of like just like a crunchy like rose that's like kind of faded in color. It just
That's a
reminds
great
me of Lidara.
answer. That's a great
Oh.
answer. That's pretty much
Cool.
exactly a great answer for that.
Oh wow.
Oh, cool.
I was
Yeah.
also gonna say like a warm pot of soup, like a big pot of warm soup, or like a stew or something like that, like home cooked stew.
I
Reminds
like
me of
yeah.
that.
Lidara.
I like that. That is very good.
I remember what I was talking about in the Y2Face server. There was like one of those memes that you fill out, like a DeviantArt type of meme where you like fill out different parts of it, and it was for your character and like things that you associate them with, which was pretty much this. And it was like a scent, a feeling, like a song. And I remember thinking like I put pine for Vincent, and I was like, it just feels right that he smells like pine.
Exactly.
why I
Doesn't have to
thought
be
that.
anything consequential.
I was
That's
like,
Yeah.
this
that's
makes
wonderful.
sense.
See that?
Ooh,
You know,
you know
something
why?
esoteric. Actually important that now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually important that you start thinking of these things for no particular reason.
Oh,
It's something esoteric that the smell of pines or dead flowers. Hold on,
Can
I
I
have to
get a
write something
definition
down.
on esoteric?
It's kind of just like not. God, what is that? How do I explain it? It's kind of like it's going to be understood by very few people, and it's very like cerebral in terms of how you're going to understand it. So something that's kind of out there,
I am now
something that doesn't
remembering.
really like the vibe. Literally, like when you look at this person, when you look at Vincent, you're like pine. That's like there's no logical connection as to why that would be true, but the vibe is there. The feeling that connects it is there. I don't know if I'm making
Dead
sense.
flowers.
I have to write it down. The vibes. Someone said in the chat. This isn't concerning at all. I don't think you should be concerned, personally.
I'm always a little concerned, but I just go with the flow, you know? But I
The
you know?
Anyways, 5 minutes. Yes.
Very quickly, I remember now. I am remembering why I chose pine, and it's because, rosin is made out of the resin of pine and conifer trees.
Yep.
That's why I made that connection.
So
It makes sense.
all of it connects and all is beautiful in its own way.
Yeah, I'm
Take your
remembering.
time to think on it. We only have 5 minutes before we got to start getting ready for this reveal. I want to get through some of these interesting ones here. They're all interesting, but I want to kind of wrap them all up in a nice package because we have so many of them. Parts of your character you don't like, something that makes you go, "I love you, my sweet summer child," but also sometimes I want to punch you.
So many
What do
things.
you not like about your characters and how they play?
How stubborn? Like so stubborn? Like please, like just let yourself like smile, like let yourself like feel like enjoy things, let yourself um live happily. But I think that she's not like that she isn't letting herself do any of those things, but I think that she definitely thinks that she doesn't deserve to. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like bonk. Get out of your
Kinda
head. Bonk.
Come on.
Bonked.
Get bonked. Absolutely. Chris, Mikayla?
Azzurum is like really similar to me in a lot of ways. And like especially in like his sense of humor and stuff like that. But everything that's not similar to me, it's like grinds my gears. Like that he's a big fucking idiot. I think that's it's like the low intelligence, like having to play like a big doofus. And
Oh my god.
so I think that like some parts of that make me want to punch him a little bit. His like going behind people's backs. I'm like number one communicator. I'm like, hey guys, let's communicate. You guys want to talk about
So
it?
true.
And Azzurum's like, y'all hear something? I have nothing to say.
La la la.
No
La
thoughts.
la 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 la. Very nice. And Chris?
I love making characters that are assholes and who have terrible, horrible flaws. So, like, all of my characters, there's something that I'm like, oh God, fix that.
Come on.
Work on that, please. So, with Vincent, I just think that he's kind of an asshole. He's kind of a dick sometimes. And I think he can be really, it's out of, like, sort of this defensiveness, that he needs to figure that out. He needs to get with it.
Times.
Especially to
Roll for
strangers.
one.
He's kind of mean to strangers.
It's alright. I mean, you have reasons to be distrustful sometimes. There's been a lot of
Yeah.
people that
There's
have-
always people
So
on our
true.
ass,
there's
so
always people coming after you all for whichever
Yeah,
reason.
so true. And I think that he can maybe I'm like, people care about you and people like you, Vincent. It's okay. It's okay. People like you.
Absolutely.
Shake his shoulders.
Last one here with 2 minutes left. I know we didn't get to everything, and I really bounced around so that we could get some from the end and some from the beginning. That way, I had a good mix of them because some people submitted multiple, and I can't remember who they are. What was your favorite moment from season 1 and 2 or 2? What's your favorite moment? Wrapping it up on season 1 and 2.
Favorite?
It's a tough one. Favorite
Season
moment.
2.
It's like-
Why? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I
No.
don't really have an answer.
I was gonna say my favorite moment. I don't. It's like a couple, but I really like the Lantern Night. I think that was super fun. I think it was a really nice like way for the season to go. Like it was a nice warm hug of an ending and until the next episode. But we didn't, that
Yeah,
episode
fair.
was warm and nice. That one was really fun. I think from season 1, the first moment that came to my head was like when so early on when Lidara like grabs Azrum's hand. For some reason that was like the first thing that came to my mind.
Lizzie shippers. Before there was LaDowna, there was Lizzie.
Oh my god.
Oh man. Oh boy.
The curse ship.
Everyone wants him, but nobody wants him.
Oh, DeVille's right there. What are you talking about?
Wants him so badly.
DeVille is right there
He's
for
got
you.
such good moments.
Don't knock
too.
DeVille.
What are you?
I think
DeVille
every
doesn't
Azram
exist.
ship is valid.
Even Vazzy.
You do
Yeah.
not deny that Vazzy has
Yes.
some serious potential.
Enemies to
Yeah.
lovers.
They
Like
really-
not actual enemies, but like
Annoyed
are you
to
sitting?
lovers.
Are you serious?
Yeah, annoyed to lovers.
I'm a big Dresden Azzurum lover.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's not what this question is
I like-
about.
Only we could do something about DeVille.
Christian, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Anyways.
Oh my
fun.
god. This is gonna
Is
be.
it time?
Favorite moments.
It's
We're getting
time.
there. It's
Wait,
time.
wait.
It's time. We'll finish this question out and then we will reveal the big reveal. Start winding down here.
My two favorite episodes to play, my two favorite sessions to play were episode 50, the Goops and Games episode, and
course.
the Lantern Night episode. They were just so fun, and I remember being in the moment and just feeling like my whole soul fill up with joy and just feeling so happy. And so those were really fun to play, and so they're my favorites because I just like they have just like golden sparkly memories in my mind. And I also really love, for the opposite reason, the episode that we played when we were walking across the bridge in the tower, and Christian told us to turn all of our chairs away from him and to not look at him for
That
the
was
recording.
good. That was a good moment.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
so
Oh
cool.
my
And then
God.
there was also
was-
just like a moment where Christian just started like laying into Auna and said some shit, and I was like, can we calm down? I remember being like, oh my god, that was so sad. But that was fun. That was really cool to play. Season 2
Very
nice.
season 1 is so far back in my memory.
I know, it's fair. It's a long time ago.
I have a complicated relationship with most episodes because there's one part of me that's like, I did this as a player, and then there's the editor part, and there's some shit that goes down in editing sometimes that people will never know about, and sometimes like editing those episodes takes like what feels like years off Christian and I's life, so it's like I may love the episode, but I never want to listen to it again.
The process to get there was rocky.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And so I think that like if I were to base it off of like moments I re-listen to a lot, episodes I re-listen to a lot, I think it's like there's an early episode, like episode 14 or so. It's the episode where Auna wakes up for the first time. I like that episode a lot because I just love Auna. That was
Valid.
one of the I was one of the coolest things for me was like learning more about like what the hell Auna was doing and learning his character more. And then also the ball episode was pretty wicked.
Yeah,
That was pretty crazy.
that was so
Yeah,
good.
that was a big build up.
I think that was one of the first like things, like that, and then the finale for season 2 were both times where I was like, what's going on? Oh shit. And I just like I was just so into it. So those are probably my favorite moments, just as like a player.
I want to add, because someone mentioned it, I like the addition of Dresden into like the whole group, and like the weirdness between Lidara and Dresden, and the Auna and Lidara and Dresden stuff literally was so funny to me. I was like, this dynamic is so, I feel so bad for Dresden, but this is really funny.
I really
like-
thought Dresden was gonna end up on top at the
The-
beginning
No,
of
he's got too much
was-
stuff going on.
The concept of like there being a secret unspoken tally between Dresden and Auna that only Dresden knows about.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
So very one-sided.
Extremely
You're so right.
one-sided
Olivia-
rivalry.
Olivia, Lidara does have 2 hands. That's what I've been saying.
Dresden needs to get therapy first.
I ship Dresden
Yeah.
with therapy.
First therapy, then we can figure it out. There's so many amazing questions. There's a lot that I'd love to get to in the future, but it's 8:35, which means
Tis.
that it is about time for us to reveal the new logo and
It is.
season 3 title. Is there any way to put on the intro while it's happening? No,
I'll just
don't
sing
do
it
it
to
if you're.
Boom, boom, coo, 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 coo.
Give me one moment. I am the stream.
If you're doing that, I'll take this last one because this one I'll just say this one's to me, which
Yes,
is
I'm
all
the
the places
stream
you've
wizard.
gone to. Which one has been your favorite so far, and which, if you give a hint, what is your favorite we might hit in the future? Favorite so far, Lunastra, wonderful, beautiful. Really big fan of Lunastra and all the themes. It paid off really well, and I was very happy about it. Favorite we might hit in the future. I have this entire place that you are entering and the civilization that you are about to meet is something that I think is extremely fun, but also sick and twisted is what I was going for.
You always are. You always are.
Moonlighters, Lunastra was the city where everyone was very happy, and some
I'm
can say that they didn't
so
deserve
excited.
what happened. But I wanted to write a city where you just hate people, the people that are there. Not everyone, but I wanted to write a city that I thought was intentionally very alien and very off-putting. So that's what we're going for. So sick and twisted.
Exciting.
That's what I'm excited for. But yes, whenever you're ready, Chris, we can go on ahead. If you need us to talk.
I'm gonna just press play.
Go for it. I believe in you. I'm listening to the stream also myself.
Y'all hear that? I hope so.
I hear it.
Okay.
I hear it.
Are we talking over it?
Yeah, we need to talk over
Talk
it.
a little bit over it. We just talk over it a little bit. That's okay.
Last time on the Strings of Fate podcast.
Last time on the Strings of Fate podcast. All right. So, if we are ready, shall we reveal the logo?
Would everyone like to see what I've been working on, my project?
Yay!
I feel like I'm in high school presenting.
Can we
my
get a
project.
drum roll, please?
Dun, dun, dun.
Ready? 3,
Ready.
2, 1. Ta-da! There it is. Ain't she purty? And then
so
finally,
excited.
the name of season 3
Yes.
is
Is
Refraction.
Yes, the Strings of Fate Refraction is coming to you on February 24th. with our new Feywild campaign. There's a lot of Feywild stuff going around in the D&D stuff, but I wrote the Feywild to be extremely different from everyone else's Feywild, so hopefully everyone has fun with it as we enter the domain of the Ruby.
Wow!
Yes, the Strings of Fate, Refraction.
Wasn't that crazy, guys?
Isn't that wacky and wild?
That wacky and wild and crazy. Oh my god, we're singing.
Yeah. Yes, there's a dog barking in my house that's going, roof, yes. Very nice. I am so excited. We're going to start winding down, but thank you all for joining us here for this stream. It's really been fun. I'm really glad that you're all excited for the new season. I'm really glad that you're excited for Refraction and for the Strings of Fate and their adventures in the Ruby Kingdom. I'm excited to figure out what twists and turns and emotional moments we all have.
Yay!
Thank you guys so much for listening, and I think we're all like just super excited to show you guys what we've been working on, because it's just so fun, and I can't wait to share it and to get back into the season.
We've played the first
Softpod's
episode.
coming back.
So excited about
We have played the first episode. I'll tell you what happens right now. So
No.
Okay, cut. We're cutting.
We're editing it. It's good. Cut. Thank you all so much.
Thank you,
Have
guys.
a great night, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter and everything. Bye.
Follow us on all.